Okay, everyone. So this is where I am at with this game. I can select my units. I can click on one. I can hold Shift to select another one. Right-click to set the waypoint. And they go there as in a formation. So like the slowest person who doesn't have a weapon always stays kind of like in the back of the direction that they're heading in. But if I went like, so if I try to click up here, they'd basically turn around. I have zombies, just a few. I did have like up to 400. If the zombies get close, or if you get close enough to the zombies, or they get close enough to you, they'll latch on, as it were, go aggro. One thing though is that the zombies aren't animated at all; they're just still. So I think that's what I'm going to do today is make it so that they go animate them and then have a separate animation when they're latched on. And I can show you that here. Oops, zombies are all the way down here. So this is just normal walking. And then I think this is what I want to use for latched on. I might create a separate animation for running. So like Call of Duty Black Ops Zombies, when there's only one left, it becomes like a runner and it runs, it goes faster, of course. Definitely moves a little bit different than regular walking zombies. So that's something that I might integrate here. So let's begin with that. I have to go into the sprite editor for that sprite. Let's see, for characters. All of my characters are in one sprite sheet, as you could see. They're pretty tiny, so they fit quite well. Okay. Oh yeah. So what I did was I created the sprite sheet to include empty sprites as well, so that I don't have to go into the sprite editor anymore. Upside is that they're automatically there. Downside is I get all these blank spaces. So let's go to scripts real quick. That's a zombie manager, that's a zombie job, and then a zombie script. So I am using Unity's job system for the zombies. So I am thinking also that the timer, which controls the animation, since I'm not using Unity's animator, the timer should probably be global to all the zombies instead of each one having its own timer, just to save on resources. So I'm going to do that with my environment. This will be a class that exists in every level. And it has an instance, correct? Oh, maybe not. Nope, just statics. So that's what I'll do. I'll create statics. This is going to be an internal. And float. And I'm going to make it like zombie walk frame. Yeah. And this is going to be 0. And basically it's going to flip from 0 to 1. And then this can be private, whatever that was. And this will be a float as well. And this is going to be zombie frame delay. This could be like 0.3, maybe 0.35. I'll try that first. I'm going to move my chat window up here so I can, that's better. Then move Discord. Yeah, I figured it was right there. Oop. Okay. And private float zombie frame timer, and that starts at 0. So in update, I can do, let's just call a method, and that'll be update zombie frame, and that can be private. Private void. This needs to be static. Update zombie frame, and then zombie frame timer plus equals time dot delta time, and then if zombie frame timer is greater than zombie frame delay, and then first thing I need to do is reset the timer. Zombie frame timer, I could set it to 0, or I could subtract the frame delay to make it accurate, but I think for the time being, I am just going to set it to 0. One of the things that I'm not sure of is if the focus leaves the game and the game pauses because of that, when you come back, what does time.delta time do? Is it like that the whole length of time since you were gone? And that would just make it like, if I was only subtracting the frame delay, then the feet would just go like real quick trying to catch up. So I don't think I want to do that. But that is also why does it, oh, I see. If I don't tell it to run in the background, which I also think I want to do. Okay, so I set the zombie frame timer to 0. Now I want to increase the zombie frame. Should I call it zombie walk frame or just zombie frame? Maybe I'll call it zombie walk frame like I intended. Because what I'm also thinking is if I wanted the run frame to animate faster, then I can have like a separate timer and a separate variable holding on to that frame. I do want to call that here. That comes down here, and then I can say zombie walk frame plus, and then if zombie walk frame is greater than, I only have 2 frames, so if it's greater than 1, then the zombie walk frame goes back to 0. I could also kind of do the same thing with the running frame. If I only had 2 frames, I could keep it 1 and 0 instead of like 2 and 3. And then in the code for the zombie, add 2 to it. Okay, so where do I want to put, oh, not in start, that's for sure. roaming positions. So maybe just here, I'm going to add a header, and this is going to be sprites and animations. And then I'm going to have a public sprite idle sprite equals, oh, I don't have to say equal to anything. And then I'm going to have a public, before I start typing list, okay. A list of sprites for walkings. So it's walking sprites, and a public list sprite for running sprites, SPRITS. And unfortunately, well, yeah, I could select all of these and lock them, right? And then in my sprite component, I have those. So I need to back up to the sprites, go all the way down here to where the zombie sprites are. And I do plan on having a variation of sprites, zombies. Okay, and this is just walking. And then this is running. Oh, I don't have to worry about it being, I said like 1 or like 0, 1, then 2, then 3, but actually in the array for the running sprites, this is 0 and that is 1, so that'll work. And then I need a method to update the sprite, and I am doing some sprite flipping here, current state action. So there's roaming, which is just walking, and then there's idle. So I wonder how much of a burden it would be to set the sprite action for each one in the given state. If I rename running to chasing, will that break the inspector? Like that. Include comments, include strings. But will it include the inspector settings? Yeah, see how it now says chasing, but it's 0. So let's put these 2 in. Okay, so in an idle state, I can say, do I have a link to sprite renderer? Surely I do, yeah. Sprite renderer dot sprite equals, is it called idle sprite? Yeah. And then in roaming, yeah, sure. Sprite renderer dot sprite equals, and so here I'm going to say walking sprite, and then the index is stored in the environment dot zombie walking frame. Is that a float? I didn't want it to be a float. It needs to be an integer for the walking frame. Yeah. And then there's chasing, and in chasing, can say sprite renderer dot sprite equals chasing sprite environment dot zombie walk frame. So this is where I can change my mind if I want it to change at a faster interval because he's running. I can make another variable and do that in the environment. The downfall is that every single zombie that is running and walking will be at the exact same frame. That might not be a downfall. That might be cute. I don't know. And that's it. I just try it, right? Yep. So they're moving. It might be hard to see on stream. Can I do full screen? It's not going to be full screen, but it's going to be... How do you do that? Play maximized. But that's just like in this little window, right? Or is it the full? Oh, that's not bad. So they're moving. They're just kind of jiggling their legs. And then when they get close enough, though, this guy's like arm should go out and head forward. Yeah. I think the distance at which the zombie gives up is too short. Also, so these zombies here, they'll never like come over this way. They have like a home position that they pick a random spot around. These guys collided and they're trying to get past each other. I'm going to put a circle collider on these zombies. I think that would make it work better. But when they chase and they give up, where they give up is their new home position. So he'll hang out around this area when he started over here. He's not going to like walk all the way back. So it's not on my list of things to do, but I am going to change the distance at which the zombies latch on and give up. Is that in the job or is it? I bet it is. It's in the manager, isn't it? I almost think it was a variable. It's been a while since I did this. And by a while, I mean like maybe 2 to 3 weeks. Okay, so this is the class. There's the target distance, roaming position, max roaming distance, and there's a view distance, right? Yeah, so idle view distance and chasing view distance. Okay. How do I see? I can't, can I? Is there a go to implementation? Not. I think, though, it's taken care of over here. Oh. So view distance 20 when chasing. Idle view distance. I can double that too. He might just start right now then. Right off the bat, start moving over. No. How close I got to get? Yeah, okay. And you really got to go away before he gives up. Okay. Cool. I did notice that if I don't save at least before I build and run, settings get reset, and that's quite annoying. I think next what I want to do is at least show a muzzle flash on the gun to show that they are trying to shoot. And I'm not sure quite yet how I want to do that. Like, I'm going to put this here. Yeah. Move it down because I'm going to have a yellow. I don't know what a muzzle flash looks like enough to, what's that, 2 pixels high. And then like, I kind of figure there should be like a line there. It should be at the top. That doesn't look great. My yellow also has a hint of green in it. Maybe put some white. For now. Click. It's kind of really hard to see what it will look like. Let's save it, bring it into Unity. I don't have a gun script yet, so let's make one, and then I'll tell it to shoot, and it will do like it'll handle the muzzle flash. Where'd it go? Assets, scripts. I'm gonna make a folder for guns. And then I'm going to start with a basic gun script, and then I'll probably branch off and inherit from those. So let's do that. This is going to be, should be revolver. It's not really a revolver that they're holding. And they do have to reload. So I'll just kind of call it handgun. There's not going to be a gun underscore handgun. There's not going to be a huge variety of guns, only a handful. Your characters are always going to have, either they're all going to have handguns or they're all going to have machine guns or whatever. Like, I do plan on making survivors that survive from level to level to level be better with their weapons, but I don't plan on making them. I don't plan on that controlling what weapon they have. It will depend on the level. And then, so this is no longer needs to be a mono behavior. This is going to be a gun. Do I want... Yeah. So I'm going to put a header here. And this header is going to be for the gun, right? And then I'm going to have a Boolean here. And this is going to be like needs. I don't want to say this. I normally write my booleans like is something, or like that. Like this gun needs to be reloaded. So like unlimited clip magazine, unlimited ammo, false. And I need to make that public, or yeah. And then in my handgun script that I do have access to unlimited. Well, not in there, I don't, but in here, it's unlimited ammo. I could change that to true. If this were true, this is going to be false. So up here, I'm going to have another header, and this is going to be for handgun. You're making your dig Tinder look so basic. I don't understand what dig Tinder is, but thank you for stopping by. I appreciate it. Header for handgun. Tinder, is that that's an app, right? And that's red underscored, so it has to have a variable under it. Do I want to have shot speed here? I'll do is reloading. That also should be over here, right? Like a public boolean is reloading is false, and then like a public float reload speed like 0.1, maybe like 10 bullets per second. There'd be a public, I don't know if I'll need a float, but I'm going to use a float for the damage. 1, and then probably float for accuracy. And I'll make that like a number between 0 and 1. And so like 0.5F, that means like you have like a 50% chance of actually hitting your target. However, I might want to add some math depending on how far away they are. Like if the further they are, the harder they'll be to hit, and the closer they are, like you're not going to miss a point dead shot. All right, so do I hold off on the header here until I actually have something that I need to add for this gun? Because a handgun is just going to be basic, and most of it can be defined in the standard gun class. I do need a shooting, so that'll be a public void just shoot. This is going to be a virtual void shoot. Okay, and there's not really going to be anything in here, but now I can do a public override for shoot, and then I'll want to call base.shoot. If I'm reloading, or there's a reason why the player can't shoot, do I want to handle that here, or should the player script, the survivor script, do a check to see if the gun is reloading? Yeah. But then there's the shoot speed, right? I don't have a shoot speed here. Should that go in here? Maybe things have unlimited. I don't know. So public float shoot speed. I'll do like 1 point, not quite 1 and not quite 2, right? So like every second and a half, he can pull off a shot. Then that means I need a private float shoot timer. And then in update, I can do I need like a ready. Or not. So this is going to be reverse math. So I'm going to say shoot timer is, I'm going to subtract the time from shoot timer. And then here I can say if shot timer is less than 0. Actually, I can say if shot timer is greater than 0, then just return. That's a safe clause. And then the rest of my code can execute as if I'm allowed to shoot. What is dig tender? So here I can say, yeah, so maybe the first thing you need to do is set the shoot timer back to shot speed. Shoot speed. That should probably be like delay between shots. What do you even call that? Shoot delay, as it were. Okay. And now I need like a muzzle flash. Public float muzzle flash. There are 2 variables there that actually need to be in this one. Muzzle flash delay. It's probably very quick. And public float muzzle flash timer. And then this will be a count up. Should I comment that? Like counts up, counts down. Muzzle flash timer equals muzzle flash delay. Oh, is there, it is shooting? Probably not. Okay. Don't really need that because I'm not constantly shooting during the duration of the shot. And I need to use sprite variables. Those will go down here. Public sprite. Just like gun idle sprite, and then a sprite for, this can be a list. Gun shooting sprite. That way, oops, sorry. I can have different muzzle flashes, so it's like not monotonous if I want to do that. Gun shooting sprite. RIT. I already know what happened. This new int using system.collections.generic. So now I can say pick a random shooting sprite. And so that will be I just go straight at it. I need a sprite renderer. Gun code private. Do I want to attach it directly to the sprite? If so, I can leave it private, and then in start I can do a sprite render equals get component sprite renderer, of course. And then here I can say sprite renderer. I made it private. It needs to be internal. And now I can see it over here. Sprite renderer dot sprite equals shooting gun shooting sprite, and then the index is random dot range between 0 and gun shooting sprite dot count. So this starts the timer. Up here, how do I want to do this? I could constantly be like muzzle flash timer, which counts up, plus equals time dot delta time, and like if muzzle flash timer is greater than I said this counts up, but I just totally changed the logic there. It counts down because I set it there. So if it's greater than muzzle flash delay, then I say, and this is sad because it's going to be constantly updating it. So I might want to have a thing that says like, I did shoot, and therefore you must track this time. Sprite renderer dot sprite equals the idle one, the gun idle sprite. That kind of means that I need to select each individual gun and assign the handgun component to a I lock those. So let's unlock that. So let's bring these out and then select those. These are all handguns. So it'll drop this right there at the top. I think every gun should have unlimited ammo, to be honest. I don't know I wrote that in there because I don't plan on running out of ammo. Like, I understand how that should be a possibility, like in reality, but no, it's a game. Like, reloading speed should almost be I'm going to rearrange some things. Hold on. Not the muzzle flash stuff because not all guns needs it. But I think a shot timer and a shot delay is something that all guns would have. So something that's specific to all guns. Oh, maybe I need to make those internals now. This should be public. Yeah, only the things that apply to the handgun should be in the handgun class. Everything that's generic to the gun should be in the guns class. So let's go to my sprites. And I can close that up. Let's go to the guns. Yeah. So I can go here. Basically that. One thing that is very important is the positioning of this circle here. It needs to be the same. Otherwise, the gun will jump around. Yeah. She doesn't have a gun. But that doesn't mean that she doesn't need to have a gun later. And this should be a game object or a prefab for these guns, but they're not currently. Let's lock that. So this doesn't change. So I can go back here to my sprites, to the gun sprite, and we'll assign this. This is the default. That's what it's going to always look like. And I'm going to randomly pick this one. Okay, so he's not going to shoot yet. They're not going to shoot yet, of course, because the player controller does not shoot yet. should the gun itself hold the value for like the shooting distance, like when the player starts shooting at a zombie? I would think so. I have everything else, right? Four blocks is kind of short. Sorry, let's go to 6. Still short, but better. Okay, so the survivor doesn't know its gun yet, but it does know the arm. It's a transform, gun transform. What is that? I assume it's the arm. Oh, well, let's unlock this. That has one gun. I just want to make sure I didn't double up. Okay. Yeah, the gun transform for some reason here is the arm. There is an aim range. I'm going to rename this to the arm transform. And then public gun. Gosh, there should almost be another transform out there for the hand. Gun. Because what if I switch out guns? There's nothing going to be there. So if I do I'm going to create an empty parent. No. Oh gosh, I must have deleted. So let's undo that. And I'm going to create an empty. That's going to be here. I'm going to call this the hand. Then this is going to become a child of the arm, and then the gun is a child of the hand. Do I want to do that for these, or do I just want to copy paste? It might just be as easy to do it this way. And then the lady is not quite hanging out here. Where's she at? Oh, she is. Okay, lady has that. This one. Okay. Okay. However, now, because I renamed the arm from gun transform to arm, I have to reassign this. And while I'm here, I'll do that. And what I think I could do is have a script on the hand that monitors if a new gun is given to the hand. It can set that gun script to this reference. Aim range, though, does not need to be here. There's a shoot distance. Oh, wait a second. How come? Yeah, sorry. That's going to give me an error. That is when they start pointing the gun at the nearest zombie. For the lady who does not have a gun currently, it's set to 0, but let's make it 15. Like the rest, that's kind of a big distance. This is not a soldier anymore. This person's name is Gav. Okay, so now the survivor to reference aim at current target. Okay. If the current target is null, sorry, if it's null and I have a gun, then I'm going to search for a new closest zombie. And if I can, then I aim at it. If I'm aiming at it, I need to restart the timer. Okay, so that would be the guns timer. Gun.shoot timer. And did I say that was counting down? Counts down, so it needs to be gun.shoot delay equals gun.shoot delay, just like that. And then somewhere, am I still in update? Yeah. Do we shoot? So then I can say if current target is not null and has gun is true, then I say gun.shoot timer minus equals time.delta time, because we're shooting down. And then if gun.shoot timer is less than 0, we reset that. Gun.shoot timer equals gun.shot delay, shoot to delay. And then do I just say gun.shoot? Like, but then what goes on over here again? Nothing. Oh, wait. Over here in my override for gun.shoot, if gun.timer is greater than 0, return. But I am making sure of it over here. Do I constantly just try to shoot? Like that? And then that method here will take care of it. Shot timer. Yeah. There's going to be a problem. One of these updates will not go, right? Unless I call base. Yeah, so that's not... This needs to be... Should be public. It doesn't have to be. Neither does start, but just public. And then here I can make sure that those methods are executed by saying base.start. You saw it was there. Start. And base.update. Why is it changing when it was showing it to me? Update. So this should count down. I set to muzzle flash. That's it. Let's see what happens. Error unexpected character. I have a slash somewhere. Why did it zoom in? Yeah, see, I was hoping that these would be flashing, but they're not. In here, I'm just going to do a real quick console.writeLine gun underscore handgun update. So I should be seeing a boatload of those down here. What's here? Because I'm using system, so I need to say unity engine dot because I added console.writeLine. Guess what? It's not console.writeLine. It's debug.log. There's a whole bunch of gun updates, so that means that that method is being called shoot timer minus equal time.delta time. We said that shoot timer does count down. Here I say if shoot timer is greater than 0, return, which at some points it will not be until I reset it. I call base.shoot. That doesn't do anything. I set the muzzle flash timer to muzzle flash delay, which is 1/3 of a second. Then I assign the sprite. Sprite renderer dot sprite. And there's no errors here. Oh, I thought it would take, oh, sorry, what? This one. Yeah. And then muzzle flash timer counts up, but it doesn't, it counts down. So minus equals time dot delta time. And then if it's less than 0, yeah, there we go. That should be the fix. My logic was checking to see if I was a counting up logic, even though it was counting down. Yeah. I could add to like a translucent. Oh, it's, you only get one shot apparently. Don't miss. So what does that mean? That means in shoot timer is greater than 0, return. Up here, I'm constantly subtracting from it. Oh. No, so shot timer is going to be set to shot delay, which makes it greater than 0. And it counts down. And if it's less than 0, then I'm allowed to shoot again. I don't plan on having most guns like this in the machine gun, maybe the shotgun, have actual projectiles that I need to keep track of. I think those are just going to be like, you don't see them, the bullets. If current target is not null and has gun, this thing here, I can't do that. Gun.shot timer equals gun. That would be doing it all the time. If current target is not null, then aim at it. If it is null, then we do this. And here is where the first shot comes from. Oh. X. Delay the first shot. I don't have a zombie take damage animation. I might do that next. Yeah, they're like, pow, pow. And just to go to show that, oh, these guys can shoot for very far. I don't know what that was. Something came up on my screen over there, but this guy should not be shooting that far. So let's reduce that distance. that in the player? It's in the gun, isn't it? Shoot distance is 4. Oh. Yeah. So should I pass the target to the shoot method? I do want to be able to tell the survivors to shoot at non-zombie objects like barrels that can explode, things like that. So how do I want to manage the distance? Do I want to say in the survivor controller? If I have a current target, that means I have a distance, right? That I do have a variable for that. I know it. Aiming and shooting. Destination. Where's my target? It's a transform, so let's look for transform. That's not it either. It's a zombie current target. Should the zombie class be targetable? Yeah, so this might totally be the wrong direction to take this in, but so in sprites, in scripts, I'm gonna create another thing called targetable. Not gonna be much in there whatsoever. Like, indeed. And then the zombie is going to be not a mono behavior, but a targetable. And then, does that mean in the survivors, instead of a zombie, this is a targetable? Somewhere there. Okay, so then if that way I can add barrels and stuff. So if targetable, I didn't change the fact that I don't have a distance to the target. I don't want to keep calculating it. So, yes, I'm on the right track. I am going to send current target to the shoot method. Where did my handgun go? So here, at least now I can do a calculation between, it's going to be between the gun and the target, not between the survivor. So if vector 2, yeah, sure, dot distance between the transform position and the target transform position is less than or equal to shoot distance. Oh, over here. Oh, actually, if I just say if it's greater than the shot distance, return, right? We don't need to do anything. Now this will be calculated just about every frame that the player, the survivor, is aiming at the zombie until it actually takes a shot. We'll get a reprieve of the shot delay. We'll see how that goes. The point is they're not trying to shoot a handgun halfway across the map. Yeah, cool. And I do like how they're not currently like in sync. Oh, needs maybe a little bit bigger of a shot distance though. So what I'll do is I'll take these guns and change the shot distance. Now I don't know if this, maybe 8. I was gonna make 6, but 8 sounds better. I should make these into a scriptable object instead of a prefab, the guns, but I don't know yet. I do need to bring up my list. Make survivors fight, kind of. There's some the bold ones are the things that I wanted to do this week. I'll show you the looting mechanic, how far it is now. There should be zombie animation. Come up with some more zombie abilities. Kind of like ranged attacks. Maybe they can, like, some can vomit or something. Projectile vomit. Create a bunch. Blah, blah, blah. I thought I had one that was just to create the running mechanic. I don't see it though. Fog of War might not be something I want to do. That's why I have a question mark there. Start character, start zombie animations, roaming, chasing, attacking, dying. So dying can be next. Let's give the zombie health. Well, that was sad. I just lost my page. Okay. Survivors fight. I do kind of think that they should have a melee attack, and the level that they are, which is like the number of levels that they have survived, is like, has something to do with the damage dealt. I'm gonna move my list over here so I can keep it up. Okay, so let's go to the zombie script. Actually, we're going to go here. I'm going to have a public virtual void I'm going to have a Boolean here. deal, take damage. And then it's going to be a float for the damage taken. And so in the zombie script, I have to remember I have these two: start attacking or start dying. Although they're zombies, they've already started dying. Take damage. Oh, I have to say like public override, take damage. Not everything that's targetable will have health, so that will belong to the zombie. And so that means I'm going to put a header here. Not because I have a header yet on the targetable. Oh, yeah. Always return false. So the reason why I made this a Boolean, applies the damage taken, it returns, is this targetable, does this targetable, how about that? Does this targetable still exist after being attacked, after applying damage? So basically, I can attack the zombie, and if the zombie then returns true, that means that was the attack that killed it, the straw that broke the zombie's back. And then I can stop focusing on it by setting. I can set the current target to false. However, that means that the next time around, it might pick that one back up if it still exists and it's not destroyed, because I still got to go through the death animation. So when I'm targeting a zombie, maybe I need to check to see if it is targetable. And it will have the class targetable, but maybe there'll be a variable that can like return like false because it's in the process of dying. Or I don't care and we double tap. Just keep shooting the dang thing until it goes away. Sets daddy. How you doing? The zombie survival game that I've restarted, like this is probably like time 4 or 5. My 4th or 5th attempt. I did it like you might have seen where I did like the 3D low poly block bench, not networked, no, not multiplayer. With like the low poly nurse and so forth. Yeah. This is not that. This is it done in 2D with like these are the zombies and my characters that I have so far. I haven't animated all of them walking, but those. And then there's the nurse. And then like some of the mercenaries that you can hire. I decided that these soldiers aren't going to be hireable because military soldiers are going to be a part of the storyline where Surprise, the government's involved, and the reason why there's zombies everywhere. So you don't get to rent soldiers. The soldiers will be like on the opposing force. I'll show you here in a second what I have. I don't need to return anything because it's not a boolean anymore. It's a void. How about a game called Heads Will Roll? That's a competitive racing game where you have to make your disembodied head roll down a hill with obstacles to avoid ramps and whatnot. Is the head a perfect sphere, or is it like oblong? Roll downhill. That could almost work also as like a, I'm not gonna do it, but like a Twitch game where your chat gets their head in like one of those little marble things, and it'd be like a sphere, yeah. And like the first person gets to the end gets a reward or something. Okay. So yeah, I can show you what I have so far. Zombies. I don't have 400 zombies in this map, but I can have 400. Zombies have a home position, like where they start, and they just meander around that. They don't go too far away from that spot. So these survivors are safe, but once we get close enough to this guy, he'll get activated, right? He'll go aggro, and then we start shooting at him. But let's do that. And these guys go in formation. So wherever you pick, like the direction is where they're aiming. The formation is aiming towards. The girl doesn't have a gun, so she's always going to be staying behind in the formation. So I'd click forward to get these guys ahead. That's it. There's no damage dealt. No one's dying yet. She can go in here. It takes 3 seconds, and then she'll come back out. The plan is that when you go into a place to loot it, you come back out, and either you successfully loot it, which will like show like a thing above their head, or some zombies will come out after that person, and that just adds to the zombies you got to kill. The starting line is a line of guillotines. I like that. I really do. That's interesting. And is it multiplayer? Is that what you said? Or is it just single player? That's still kind of cool. Competitive racing. Okay. Downhill. You have something. Multiplayer, but you're digging the Twitch game idea where it's all automatic. There you go. I've done my Twitch game ideas. I think I'm going to, if I go back, I currently don't have any plans on pursuing affiliate. Like I'm gonna stay like super vanilla, no chat on screen, just this, right? Instead of like trying to chase all the cool whistles and bells on stream. I think I have notifications on screen here. Maybe. Maybe not. I'm not even using OBS. Like I'm using Meld, which is basic, but it's clean. Okay. So now the zombies need to perish. Let's go here. I need a grid. So I need first I need hurt. Nightbot works. That's good. Copy, paste, move, arrow keys. Okay, so let's zoom in here. He's gonna head back. Kind of think his head should be at an angle too. So how do I do that without... Is it Control T? Control T. I really don't want like anti-aliasing, so I'm gonna have to do it by hand. And probably just erase the heck out of it. Let's get rid of that rectangle. No. Yes. Go like that. Maybe. Oops. This goes like this. And then the head of the zombie is down in here. So derpy. Okay. Let's go one more. Why does it look so bad? Okay. Maybe fix this. I don't know, that kind of okay, I feel it. Yeah, we're getting there. How do I get 3 pixels on this side? Do I just want to move this in? Probably not. Yeah, okay. Eesh. I think I want to take and put another hand here. Like there. Why'd you do that? Setzer is cooking. It almost looks like he's shrugging, though. Like, oh no. I think blood will be particle system. Oh, I'm missing the shine on his head. Can't tell anyways, but it's kind of okay. Does the mouth need to go like here? Yeah, okay. I gotta live with it for now. Like, let's do it. Okay, so sprite for the hurt animation or public sprite hurting sprite. And then that's a whole other thing, right? Like, if it's hurting, can I bypass the job system? Or does the job system want to do the timer? Let's go here. What this is my zombie data that I make an array of that I send off to the job system. So I kind of need a variable that either zombie state is an enum. Is that in the zombie? It is. Okay, cool. So there's hurting. I need or attacking. So I need hurting. Right. So it's getting hurt and then it's dying. So then if I get hurt, then I can say, is it state equals hurting? And then we set the sprite renderer equals whatever I named it. Of course, it's hurting sprite. Hurting sprite.sprite equals hurting. And then, so I need a float yet. And there's an action. The job system is going to have to look to see if it's hurting. And if it is, it's going to have to just basically ignore it because it could push it into one of these updates, which is basically if it was roaming and then it sees a player, then it goes into chasing update. And then here, if it's chasing update, then I move it into chasing. So let's go to the zombie job. And how do I break? Do I continue? So do I say like if z.state is zombie state dot hurting, continue. Return? I can just return, right? So it's basically a guard clause there. What happens when I hit the zombie? Do I want it to go back to its original state of like chasing, attacking, being idle? Or if it gets hit, should I tell it who hit it so it goes aggro on them? Survivor, am I allowed to do this? I say that like I know what I'm doing. Annotation for nullable reference type should only be used in code with a hashtag nullable annotation context. There are words in there that I do not know. I assume I'm allowed to pass a null, right? Because like if I shoot a barrel, the barrel explodes. The barrel is going to apply the damage to the zombie. I don't want the zombie to go aggro on the barrel that doesn't exist anymore. But anyways, if who is not null, then, and it is a survivor, correct. This kind of has me at odds because, like I was talking about the military personnel, they can also be shooting at the zombies. That means they will have to be survivors, and I'll have to make sure that you can't select them as to take control of them. The zombie, what's my target? Target survivor equals who? I think that's all I need. And then when I'm done taking damage, done being hurt, then I think I go into chase mode, and then the job system will put it into an attack mode if it's close enough. If target survivor is null, then we do that. I was just thinking, like, if I had two people and a zombie in the middle and they're both shooting it, it wouldn't be able to make up its mind. So if it doesn't have a target, then assign it and it'll stick to that target. Okay, so I do need an action, and I think I'll just put it here. Void state hurting. Not much to it besides a timer. Is there health? No. Do I have a section for hurting? Public float days, like you're put in a days, so like days delay. Should that be up to the weapon? Like if there's a big explosion and they get hurt from that, they get dazed longer than if they got hit. I'm not going to do that, but that's something I can explore. And then and this could be private float days timer. And this is, let me comment on that this is countdown. Then in here, take damage, blah, 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 blah. And then what variable am I using? That's an action, current state action equals hurting action. Oh, sorry, state hurting. And I'm not going to call it days. I should call it hurt. I'm going to leave it days. Days delay. What did I call the timer? Date. Days timer. Equals days delay. And here I can say days timer minus equal time.delta time if days timer is less than 0. Just setting the state could be chasing update, I think. Cool. Let's save this for good measure. I didn't apply the sprites. And I don't think I do encode, so I might have to go. I'm going to take a second look. Characters. I do. Yep. Okay. That might be it. It doesn't have any health points, so it's not gonna. They're not gonna die yet. But oh, when I'm shooting, I'm not calling the hurting. Also, take damage. Sorry. In the handgun. When I shoot, if I determine that I can shoot, pick a random shooting sprite and then apply damage to the target. Targetable. Target dot take damage, and then I have a variable. Is it in gun? Damage. And then you need to know this, right? The gun doesn't know who's holding it. So, internal survivor, owner, like that. And then in the survivor has a link to the gun currently. So in start, I can do a when the gun is applied, that's when this should happen. But for now, gun.owner equals this. And then when the handgun shoots, it sends owner. And then the zombie is currently getting hit and someone else shoots it, then I think everything is in place to reset or keep the timer there. For one, I think maybe the shooting speed should be faster. But the delay should be much smaller. So let's change. The gun has to shoot a delay, but what I think I'm going to do inside the handgun is I'm going to say shoot delay. I'm going to set it here because it's going to be the same for this gun. Override the shoot delay. Internal, and then handled by the ancestor. What do you call that? JavaScript for now. That, and then the zombie. Days delay. Very, very quickly, maybe. Oh, they're not even giving him a chance. Days delay 0.2f. Oh, it's public, so that means the inspector owned it, but not now. Yeah. So really, like if you were dealing with like a horde, oh, these guys should probably like start paying attention to closer zombies, maybe. I don't know. Distracted. That's fine. These guys aren't supposed to be brilliant. Okay. So in my checklist, oh, right here. Zombies actually attack, finish looting mechanic. Attacking, and I still need dying. Characters, they don't have any of that yet. I do have walking now for most of them. I'm going to unbold this and make survivors melee fight. And then unbold, but then put like damage based on level of survivor's level, based on survivor's level. Cool. Okay. That's all I'm going to accomplish for tonight. I do plan on streaming again tomorrow, so thank you all for stopping by, and I will see you then. Ciao.